and you're watching Sean the Saiyan.
No, Kakarot, I am the strongest Saiyan. But Vegeta, I just want to spar again. Oh. Hey guys, it's Sean, your friendly neighborhood Saiyan. Didn't expect to see you. So recently I've been going back and playing through a lot of the 2000s Sonic games, and there is one game that I want to talk about today, and that is Sonic Colors, a game that a lot of people love for multiple reasons, and we're going to cover something specific in this video. So Sonic Colors, a game that I played pretty close to when it came out if I remember correctly. I remember a lot of fans saying that this was the game that revived the series. It took all the daytime stages from Unleashed and made it into a whole game. From what I remember, my feelings towards after finishing the game for the first time were, yeah, I liked it. It was fine. Not my favorite in the series, but I had a fun time with it. So now over a decade later, revisiting the game, my opinion has changed a little, or maybe a lot. By the end of this video, we're gonna break down the game and find out. So rewind the clocks back to 2010. Here we see that the entire cast of voice actors for the Sonic series contracts were about to expire. So no more Jason Griffith as the voice of Sonic, and the whole cast got new voices. Except for Mike Pollock, he's still the Eggman we know and love. Now this was honestly a shame. I think Jason really came into his own in the role around the Black Knight and Unleashed era of voicing the character. He became more cool and laid back as Sonic, and less cartoonish, which I really dug as a fan. So we have the well-known Roger Craig Smith stepping into the role as Sonic, and to this day, he still is the current voice of Sonic in the games. I really didn't know any previous roles he had done at the time when the game came out, so he was completely new to me. So here's the thing. I don't dislike Roger Craig Smith. I've enjoyed him in plenty of other roles. He seems like a really chill dude from videos of him at cons and such. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when I first heard Sonic's new voice, I absolutely hated it.
Hey Tails, you missed the BBBE.
It's grown on me over the past couple of years, a little though. Overall though, I think that Colors is his weakest performance as Sonic from a voice acting perspective. But to give him some more credit, I think he did a really good job in the more recent Sonic Frontiers, taking a more serious approach to the character. Now before I dive more into the story, I'm just gonna quickly cover my thoughts on the gameplay for Colors. For the most part, the game is all the daytime stages from Unleashed packed into the game. However, with a bit more 2D platforming, which could be disappointing to certain fans, depending on which gameplay style they prefer. As far as the Wisps go, I think they're fun. Some are definitely more interesting than others, but they add more diversity to the gameplay style, which I'm not against. Now, boss battles for the game, they're typical Sonic boss battles. Run towards the enemy, hit the weak spot, rinse and repeat. Great music and designs for them though. So story-wise, Eggman has built a giant theme park in outer space and is using the power of an alien race known as the Wisps to try and take over the universe. And of course, Sonic and Tails have to stop him by traveling to each section of the theme park and freeing up all the Wisps. So pretty average Sonic storyline. However, this time around, the team took a drastic turn in terms of themes for the game and made the game a lot more silly and comedic in terms of the dialogue. And that's the element of the game we're going to talk about. It's the writing for the game. It's not great. In fact, it's actually kind of bad. Almost every single cutscene in the game is just packed to the brim with cheesy jokes and puns. Now, I'm sure you're probably saying to yourself, Sean, you're complaining about a game not having enough serious dialogue when the main character is a talking blue hedgehog that runs really fast. And yeah, maybe that does sound a little ridiculous, but hear me out. How did we go from this?
Merlina, every world has its end. I know that's kind of sad, but that's why we gotta live life to the fullest in the time we have. At least, that's what I figure.
To this.
Know him, who they call Baldy Nosehair.
Baldy Nosehair? That's the best thing I've heard all day. I gotta remember that one.
So yeah, you see where I'm coming from. Say what you want about Sonic and the Black Knight, but what it does well, it does really well. You could also argue that, well, the story could just take a backseat if the gameplay is alright. But the issue with that is,
I've been playing Sonic games since I was a kid, so I've obviously developed a connection for these characters. So it's pretty hard for me to just ignore some of the throwaway or just downright cheesy or awful dialogue when I really want more emotion and depth from these characters that I've been given in the past. And I'm not saying every single game has to be as dark or serious as the adventure games, but I feel like there should be a good balance between tension and humor. The reason I'm making this video is to explain that Sonic Colors doesn't really have that balance.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
Okay, this joke gets a pass because it did get a little chuckle out of me the first time when I saw it. To close out this breakdown, I want to compare the 2000s games and 2010 Sonic games and see what each era of these games did better than the other and vice versa. So from the Renaissance era to the experimental era of Sonic games, gameplay-wise, there was a lot of shifting around, and different spin-off games like Sonic Riders, for example. There are plenty of downs in these years, with Sonic 06 being a huge one, and Secret Rings with not being as bad as 06, but not being good either. But at the same time, there's a lot of positives to look at, with the adventure games and heroes being favorites among fans nowadays, and other games that have gained a lot of appreciation over the years, like Unleashed and Black Knight. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the throwback and boom era of games. This era started out pretty well with Colors and Generations at the start of it, but started to kind of fall flat with games like Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric coming out as unfinished as 06, and the pretty forgettable Sonic Forces coming out a couple of years later. This era, I think from a gameplay standpoint, was a lot more focused and well received among fans and critics, but from a story and script standpoint, was really lacking and didn't carry the same weight or impact as the old voice cast did. So overall, I think the writing in the 2000s Sonic games were just better. If you've seen interviews of Jason Griffith talking about voicing the character, you can tell he also really grew as a voice actor alongside the character. Call it a director's choice if you will, but I think it was something a little bit more than just that. But yeah, from the last 2 decades of Sonic, I'd say Colors has the weakest writing in the series hands down. That doesn't mean I hate the game, just definitely hinders the experience for me a little, you know? What I'm hoping for in the future is that Sonic Team will take the writing and story from the 2000s era of games and take the gameplay style from the 2010s, or I guess the boost gameplay is what some fans also call it, and do a fusion dance and give us something like that moving forward. But hey, that's just what I want. And hey, if you love Sonic Colors for its gameplay and humor, or you think Roger Craig Smith is the best Sonic, that is all good. I am not trying to take that away from you. This is just my opinion, and that's all there is to it. Thank you guys all for watching. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe. It always helps. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Sonic Colors, and I'll see you all next time.